A lot of the stuff you see on YouTube or any like self-improvement thing in general is trying to find your purpose. And it was last night when I realized that as a young kid, even as I was navigating through all of life, I've actually always had a sense of purpose. And I wasn't super clear on exactly what it was, but only now have I really been in the past 2 to 3 years have been in a place where I can consciously articulate it. And it comes down to this: to build a world that maximizes human potential, not squashes it, because that's what happens when you go through school. Every kid has this boundless curiosity. I mean, shit, dude, have you ever tried to answer questions from kids? They just don't fucking stop. All right. And that is the core, that is the engine that drives any meaningful pursuit in life. It starts with curiosity, right? It's not the only thing. And so I've also begun to come to my own values. And, again, this is not for everyone. Some people don't even know what they want to do with life. But for me, my problem has always been, how can I execute on this sense of purpose better, right? And in some ways, it depends. Like there's some spiritual truths where, like, yes, I just gotta let go of everything and, you know, tune into my inner goodness or whatever. And that's all good and fun. But realistically and practically, I also need to work on productivity, just managing myself better on my day to day, planning my days out, planning my months out. And again, it doesn't have to mean every single minute of my day is planned out. That's just another form of neuroses, right? It's how do we walk the middle path, right? Because there's what I notice a lot, especially when you're developing yourself, it's easy to fall into the next hat and the next hat and the next hat. You take the hat off and then you put the next hat on, right? At first, and when you're going through school and whatever, you wear the standard hat where, okay, I'm gonna do the 9 to 5, I'm gonna get my job, or sorry, I'm gonna get my college degree. And obviously that's fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's just, have you done the self-inquiry and thought to yourself, is this what I actually want in life? And if that is the case, by all means do it. All right. Like I do not, I do not think that that stuff is inherently bad, right? Even though I'm going to probably shit on it a lot. It was just I'm just understand I'm going filtering through my experience. And so, where was I even going with this? Oh yeah. And so it's really important that, when, like, for myself, for me, when I was trying to lose weight, literally I was just, man, I wish I could just be fit, right? But in that phase, I was just wearing the hat of being fat, and I didn't even realize I was wearing the hat. Does that make sense? And so I was still subconsciously identifying as fat, and so it was like, and you're gonna find this too as you start to grow into your power more. As soon as you start to, I guess, be more consciously going after your purpose, you start to realize how actually terrifying it is, and how there's a part of you that wants to stay small. That, oh no, I can't. I mean, I've mentioned this story before in anime. There's this guy in My Hero Academia. I don't even think it was that good. You can I'll die on that hill. But there was a really interesting part where, Deku, he got the power from All Might, and if he tried to use it, it would literally destroy his body at full power. And so he has to use it at 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%. And that is what happens. You get a glimpse of what you're capable of, and it's really fucking terrifying. And you won't really understand this until you see it for yourself, which is the nature of most of these truths that people put out in books and YouTube videos and whatever. And I say books and YouTube videos because that has been my main source of information, long form YouTube books. And so you have to be mindful of the hats, right? It's okay to put it's not inherently bad to actually have the hat on. It's not inherently bad to be invested into all these different things. What matters is you're doing it consciously, right? And that goes into anything. Anything can become an ideology. Anything can become just an identity, a hat that you or like an outfit that you put on. And it's just important that you're mindful of it. For example, spirituality. Oh man, this is probably the because of the nature of it, it is really easy for you to fall into the trap of, oh man, look at me. I'm so spiritual and I'm like above everybody else now. Oh man, I'm transcending. Yeah, you see. And there are again, there are in everything, there are genuinely good truths. And there's a quote from Carl Jung, which goes something like those who think see the world in thoughts, those who feel see the world in feelings. There's truth and error in both, right? And so you have to understand you as a person, as a living individual, have to go through all these different experiences, and you have to kind of there's going to be all sorts of shit that happens, and on a metaphysical level, what you want to do is extract the truth from every little thing that comes out of every single situation. Little itty bits and pieces of the truth will just leak out into everything that you experience. And this is from my experience, right? And this is why I also really like the work of Ken Wilber. It is one of the first, or at least a really great model for how to navigate these different aspects of reality. Because you, as this formless being, you think you are just a body, you think you're just your mind. There are people who spend their entire lives from the neck up thinking that, oh, I'm just a brain and I am writing inside this body that houses this brain. That should already feel fucking off to you, right? And so you have to learn how to navigate. And again, this isn't something that you could just read in a book. Sometimes literally the only way to learn how to navigate the sea is to navigate the sea, right? And so I have a couple values that I have developed and that I have come to as well that might be very useful for somebody else on this journey. And it comes down to three things, actually. Let me get this out for you. I don't know if you can actually read this. Oh yeah, whatever. I'll read it out. So the three values are um well, I'll read the words out first, and it comes down to three words. It's mastery, it's truth, and it's love. For myself, again, this isn't I'm not going to say this is correct or anything. It's this is just my experience, and this is the truth of what I've extracted from my own life experiences up to this point, right? And so mastery, truth, and love. Those are the three words. That's MTL, TLM, ML, LMT, whatever helps you remember it. And the first one, mastery, and that's short for holistic self-mastery. And so growing up, I one of my biggest things has always been how can I develop myself? How can I be better? And it wasn't just I don't want to just be fit. I want to be rich. And I don't want to just be fit, jacked and rich or like jacked and rich, but I want to like be a genuinely good person. I want to be a strong man, a great person. And I want to have a great relationship with my family and my my friends and everything. I want it all. And what I've found is that society or today, this world today, it wants to keep you small. So that even if you're rich, well, if you're rich, people are gonna be like, well, he's a fucking asshole. That's why he's rich. Or, oh, he's jacked. Oh, he must be a fuck boy and he fucks all the girls. See, that's what that people don't want you. No, I disagree. There is some mental virus. Okay. There's some sort of maybe mimetic, some sort of mimetic virus that wants us to stay small. And that kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier with that whole purpose thing, where there's a part of me that I've built up this audience. I have this community. We have like 200 fucking membership requests, and I'm scared. Some part of me wishes I never started the journey to begin with. Some part of me wishes I was just a nobody. And it's like it's not even that deep. I have 3K followers on Instagram and I'm sorry, Threads, and almost 300 followers on my, sorry, 4K followers, and then 3K on, or 300, 4K on threads, 300 on the community. And well, it's more like 240 around there. And truthfully, yeah, there's a part of me that wants to stay small, and that's the same part, that same sort of this shroud that goes over everyone. And I don't exactly know what the nature of it really is yet, but it is there. It's a shroud over me that says, yeah, why don't we just gotta stay small. We don't want to do that. That's scary, you know? Like then people are gonna start, I don't know, talking shit to us. I remember I had a guy on one of my posts that blew up. He went through my Facebook. And because my Facebook, I haven't updated it yet, so it still says I'm majoring in aerospace engineering in college. And I dropped out back in 2022. And so the guy was like, dude, get a real job and just go back to aerospace engineering. So, but that's what I mean. And so we we there's that phrase where it goes, you can have your cake, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And I say, fuck that. You can have your cake and eat it too, but just not all at once. For myself, the when I got dumped or I dumped, I don't even really know how to say it anymore. Let's just say me and my ex broke up in February 2022, literally right around Valentine's Day. So it's actually been almost a little over 3 years since that happened. And it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. My God, literally one of the best things that ever happened to me. Right as I dropped out of college, I was like, okay, cool. I got a girlfriend, so like I'll be good. And then nope, freaking grandpa died. 2 months after that, girlfriend and I break up. 3 months after that, dog dies, and I'm in the other side of the fucking world, so I can't even see him, see my dog. And so life just pulled the rug out from underneath me. But that was my initiation. That was my first kind of rodeo into this grand thing that is life. And you have to start by taking ownership of it, right? It's really hard. I think it's really good. I don't know if you can hear that. Right. And so that was my initiation into this grand journey called life. And that starts with you having to kind of take control, to get back in the driver's seat, because it just got totally, totally fucking hijacked from you, right? And so how does that play into holistic self-mastery? Well, it is my view that every single human, or like the human spirit, is formless, which means we can wear many, many, many hats. All right. But we live in a world now where it only wants you to wear like 1 to 2 hats. And it wants you to stay that way, right? It wants you to stay, even not even just in terms of your job or your career, but in terms of the way that you are around your friend. And some of them will say some shit like, "Oh, you've changed," as if that's a bad thing. Life has changed, bro. And so holistic self-mastery, what is that? Well, it is mastering every major aspect of your life. Your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul, too. That's a whole nother thing too. But and all of that is to me is a part of navigating this new world where every human can fulfill their potential. And this is not an easy path. This is actually very, very difficult. Just that one alone is extremely, extremely difficult, right? And then the next one, truth. Always strive for truth. And there's a quote, or there's this YouTuber. His name is well, his name is not actualized, but it's actualized.org if you don't know him. And there's something that he says about reality that I really align with. And he says, I want to align myself with reality no matter what, no matter how much suffering it takes. As long as I am aligned with reality, then it'll take care of me. I'm paraphrasing heavily now. And so that's what I'm going for here is I ultimately, even if it brings immense suffering, even if like, because you think about literature and all the stories where, oh, there's this guy who always strives for truth, and I I fight for justice. And or when you see Superman, who's just it just you can kind of just effortlessly be kind throughout all that. Reality is that shit fucking sucks. All right. It fucking hurts. It fucking hurts. The truth. Literally, you can't handle the truth. Yeah, not a lot of people can. Most people can't. And yet for some reason we still it always comes out because some part of us, some part of you, some part of me always feels this pull towards it, even though and sometimes we fall back asleep. And I know this sounds really abstract, but strive for truth really means, okay, what is actually going on here? That means questioning, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I doing the things that I need to do? Why, like, is this viable for me? Right. And so that's how I always was growing up is, okay, why do I have to do all this fucking homework? What is this homework for? What does this homework accomplish? Right? And then what are we working towards here? What are we gonna do? And then after I get my college degree and then I get my job, then what? Am I just gonna just work the same fucking job until 65 and then that's that? Am I just gonna and then I get to enjoy my life at 65? Right. It's like it's act when you want to make this actionable, I say it is just question what the fuck is going on. Even shit like why do we have why are cups shaped like this? Right? The stuff that you normally don't think to question is probably the stuff that you probably want to question the most. All right, and the next one, do it for love. Do it for love. This is inspired by David Data. So that's the third word, love. So mastery, truth, and love. The last thing that we need is a bunch of humans actualizing, but from a place of what's the word I was looking for? From a place of lack. And you can see it. You've seen it before, like the like Elizabeth Holmes and that whole shit with Theranos, SBF. We don't need more of that shit, even though there's probably inevitably going to be something like that. We don't need we don't need more vitriol. Nowadays, things are super, super, what's the word? Venomous. And it's both, I mean this both in every way politically, and everybody's infighting for over petty shit. I look at what's going on left and right, and I just see both sides, clowns on both sides, and I see good people on both sides, right? And yet it seems like for the most part they don't neither side sees it, right? And I'm not saying this that I'm like holier than thou or like I'm this learned enlightened middleman, but that's what I see, and I'm going to say it, right? And that kind of goes back to the whole truth. Strive for truth also means that you're going to have to start living from your deepest truth, whatever the fuck that is. See, people, that's the thing. And if you don't know what the fuck that is, you need to figure that out, right? You need to figure that out. Oftentimes, it's staring at you. You're going to realize it was staring at you right in the face all along. But do it for love. Do it for love. Do it because you want to make the world a better place for your family, for your kids, for your future bloodline, whatever that is, right? Because part of part of my desire for wealth is I see money as this last century fucking problem. I don't want my future bloodline to have to worry about money. I want them to worry about better things, quite frankly. I want them to worry about like, oh man, I gotta go paint my how do I fit in my paint session with this dance session and then this martial arts session that I have to do tomorrow. I want them to be worrying about that. I want them to be worrying about bigger, better things than just, oh man, am I going to be able to afford this? And so that's a big part of it. But and yet that's where the love comes in is I don't want to just become a drug dealer. I was just watching, I forgot that one Johnny Depp. It's a Johnny Depp movie about how he's the right hand man of Pablo Escobar. I literally was just watching yesterday, and I remember his dad told him, I forgot his name, but his dad told him, or he says, "Dad, I'm really good at what I do, which is selling weed." He goes to Mexico to buy weed, and then he sells it. He resells it in the U.S. And he's like, Dad, I'm really good at what I do. And then his dad says, Son, you could be good at anything. And so that's where I think love kind of there's a Robert Moore talks about it too, where it's justice and love and justice. And the same thing here, it's mastery, truth, and love. I think they're kind of like these three counterbalancing, and also it's both counterbalancing and multiplicative. So all three of them together, they balance each other out, and yet they strengthen one another, and they turn you into a force to be reckoned with, right? Not in a force as in like, oh, I'm gonna fucking destroy the world, go Aaron Yeager, but I mean, I'm gonna do good for the world, and I'm probably, no, I'm going to piss some people off. That's just how it's gonna be. You think? Yeah, I bet George Washington pissed a lot of British people off. He pissed a lot of Tories off, right? And yet he fought for what was right, or for what he believed was right. And so look, we had a whole fucking country was founded. So I hope that helps. Again, it's mastery, truth, and love. Holistic self-mastery, strive for truth, and do it for love. And that I hope that kind of helps. That's helped me sort of navigate this whole thing. And because look, at the end of the day, I don't want to just be the fitness guy or I don't know, the creator guy or the intellectual, or we cling to these labels, and they're like they're not even real, man. We just kind of made them up. And so really the only thing that you can really count on is that you are here right now and that you're probably going to die. No, I mean, probably, because I know there's some stuff going on in science and stuff right now that I don't know. But in a way too, you're dying every moment. You're not the exact same person you were yesterday or last year, and you won't be the same person as you are today when compared to tomorrow or next year. So it's when you cling to these identities, these different aspects, they just cut you down. So the real answer is yes, you are a father. Yes, you work a 9 to 5, or you do XYZ, and you're also none of those things, right? What you are is greater. It encompasses those things, but it doesn't. It's uh, cliche, but nonetheless true. You are greater than the sum of your parts. Peace.